Hey guys, it's Roderick, and I'm here with the morning show, season 3, episode 2, Ghosts in the Machines. Okay, this was an action-packed episode. Lots of things were happening here. They're chipping away. They're raising the stakes. They're like Jonathan. It was definitely a lot going on. So we start off with the panic in the sky. You know, Bradley's transmission has cut out. Everyone's freaking out. And then all of a sudden, the transmission comes back. Everyone's like, yay, it's all great, whatever, right? But Paul is still salty after the rocket, after they come back, which, mind you, okay, how did you get, don't most rockets just, fall into the ocean and they have to go get the rocket? How many times, I don't know if you can just launch a rocket and it just come right back to where it was. But again, I don't have $1 billion or a rocket, but I was like, okay, whatever. And what I forgot to mention last episode, which I will mention this whole rocket launch and that whole sequence of them floating in the sky, that's Apple playing in our faces, showing us why iPhones are so expensive, because that was such a well-produced scene. It was like, okay, Apple's just showing everybody that they got a ton of money because they're cooping us with buying all these iPhones, the product placement, the whole thing. I was like, okay, Apple, we see you. You could have done, this could have been an underwater expedition. They could have gone whitewater rafting or whatever, but no, they got to be in space because Apple wants to show you that they're rich. Anywho, so after that, Paul's super salty. I'm like, poor Cory. There's just so many poor Cory moments in this episode. I was just like, oh my God. So Bradley is now on the private jet. And she's texting Lorna, how are you? Is everything okay? Lorna's like, fuck out of here. Don't, leave me alone. Don't contact me ever again. So Bradley's feeling some sort of way about, Lorna. She feels like she's let her down. So here comes Alex and Chip back from the Del Rio or whatever. And here they come sashaying in on the private plane. And I was like, oh, girl, the nerve. You're going to miss the whole rocket launch of why they even flew you out here. You're not even going to have some kind of decency and shame and, fly commercial, first class, whatever. No, I came on a private jet. I'm going back home on the private jet. So she made sure she didn't miss that flight. And Cory was like, oh, look, a flight Alex doesn't miss. And everybody's just side-eyeing Alex when she looks in and whatever. And I was like, girl, I guess so. I guess ticket prices are that high. Anywho, she goes back and she meets with Bradley, and then she talks about Lorna and everything that's happened. So then they catch up, and I was just like, girl, okay. So then we cut to Alex having dinner with Sybil, and Alex is just straight snitching. Like I told you in the last episode, Alex knows how to snitch, and she is just spilling all the tea. She's like, he's about to sell, she's about to do this, I'm not putting up with this, I can get talent, and we'll just boycott and kill this deal. Sybil, I need you to stop this whole thing. And Sybil's like, okay, I'll talk to the board, I'll stop this, blah, 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 boo. And then Alex is, she's really feeling herself, right? And then all of a sudden, Sybil's like, but let me tell you what you ain't gonna do again. How about you missing this rocket thing, this rocket that would have made us so much more money, and now advertisers are pissy. She's like, girl, I was about to be used. And then it made me think, right, that did she miss the rocket launch because she was really upset about Lorna, or is that she didn't want to get used by Cory to be the honeypot for Paul Marks for this whole rocket thing, right? So because she had mentioned in the last episode, oh, he's using me as a honeypot or whatever like that. So now it made it kind of murky. Was she just using Lorna as an excuse, or was this really something super real, whatever? Anyway, Sybil's like, don't worry, girl, I got your back. Keep this between us. I'll work it out. Now, next scene, Sybil's in the room with Stella and Cory, and Cory's pissed. Is like, we should fire her, we should suspend her, we should whatever. Stella's like, and then Sybil's like, I don't care what you do with that girl, right? Suspend her, fire her. I don't know a fuck about that, right? I don't care. So Stella comes with the idea that we'll make Alex do TMS, the morning show, 5 days a week as a way until upfronts, as a way of her punishment, which will boost the ratings, but also punish Alex because she can't do her other shit if she's on TMS 5 days a week, waking up at 3:30 in the morning, right? And then that was pretty much the whole thing. And I was like, what I did, like the lights start to flicker or whatever, and Sybil is real shady, right? Because in the previous scene, Sybil's all like, oh, I got you, girl, I got you. And Sybil was real quick to throw Alex under the bus. Meanwhile, the lights are flickering. The guy in the control room is trying to publish the copy of what's going on. It's not going on. We start getting scenes of mechanical difficulties. And I was just like, oh, are they getting hacked? So we can see a scion on the bottom. Like, this is how great of detailed direction is. As these small things are happening in the middle, under the scion, we see corporations must report if they've been victims of cyber attacks. And I was like, are they getting cyber attacked? They're getting cyber attacked. Lights go off, doors get locked, alarms start going off, music starts being played. It's a whole shenanigans. They're being hacked. And immediately I was like, wait a minute. Did Paul Marks hack into UBA to drop their stock prices so that he could buy it cheaper once it came out or whatever like that? That's my theory. Just gonna ruin the ending for you. That's what I think that's happened, okay? So then Stella comes in with her cyber team. She's like, what's going on? They're like, we don't know. You know, we need some time. They're trying to figure it out. And then I was just like, oh, this reeks of this like Paul guy, whatever. Then we find out that they've hacked Bradley's phone and she was sending sexy videos to Laura or whatever. So then the cyber person is like, look, and so then his assistant comes in and is like, come look at your laptop, look at your email. Cory sees the video, he asks for Bradley. Meanwhile, Bradley has decided, like Bradley does, to start launching away in the middle of a cyber attack with their electrical appliances and systems are being attacked. She wants to get in the elevator, okay? So her and Chip get in the elevator, which of course it immediately stops because everything else is being attacked. So she's trapped in the elevator for the hour. Alex and the new Black Olympian, they will just call her that until they tell us what her name. Have they told us her name yet? Like literally we just know she's Olympian and she's Black and she wasn't gonna ride no rocket ship, right? So they're in Alex's dressing room. She's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. They don't know whether it's a shooter. They don't know what's going on. So then Cory's like, you need to get Bradley up here. So Bradley finally gets out the elevator. So the guy comes like, Mr. Ellison wants to see you. She goes up, and it's kind of one of those scenes, kind of like in a spy movie or those action movies when a bomb goes off and like everyone's kind of inaudibly quiet because it's like a bomb has exploded in Bradley's life because they've told her that this video has gone out. Laura's there. It's a whole thing. It's a whole fiasco, right? So then Cory is just like, okay, we need to figure out what's happening. He gets a message from the hackers and they want $50 million, right? Or they'll release everything. Then we find out that the next message they send is a recording of them all talking in the room. So the hackers have access to the entire UBA network, right? So everyone's like, gotta get phones, you gotta get everything done. I was like, whatever. And Cory's walking out the room and he's already figured out how he's going to spin this. Like, we're the scions of democracy. This is what an attack on freedom of speech. Like, Cory is always thinking. He is always looking for an opportunity, always looking for a way to turn this around and to like make this better or whatever like that, right? Meanwhile, Stella has a conversation with Alex because Stella goes down to tell everybody that we need to collect all your phones. And everyone's like, oh my God, whatever. She just tells Alex, you're on TMS up front. So Alex is like, the fuck I am? She's like, the fuck you are. And she was like, have you read my contract? Have you read your contract? Because you breached it by not showing up to this rocket launch. So Alex is like, what? So Stella, I really kind of like the development they've given with Stella because if you recall when Stella first showed up on the show, she was kind of mousy, she was kind of quiet, she was kind of passive aggressive, but Stella is swinging with the big ones now. She was like, see you there 5 days a week or whatever like that, right? So then Mia keeps her phone, right? And she's FaceTiming with some guy. He's hot-ish or whatever. And I'm like, Harpo, who this? Like, we're having a lot of Harpo, who this situations. I was like, Harpo, who this? A Black Olympian. Harpo, who this? Who's this person Mia's texting? Why are we going to care? Why is he in the battle zone? Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, Mia needs something to do, right? So whatever, right? So, I mean, I'm not upset about the plot point, but I'm just kind of like, why are you supposed to care, right? But whatever. Mia got her aside. He's in another country, whatever, right? So Alex is on the phone fuming with their agent, and so then Bradley comes in because Bradley and Cory have already had a conversation, and we get this kind of, again, did you tell anyone about last year? Which kind of calls back to that flashback episode, that kind of flashback sequence we saw. And I'm like, what the fuck happened last year? So pretty much Bradley and Cory have a conversation that pretty much is like, we can't let this get out, right? You have to pay the ransom. You have to pay the ransom. So now I'm like, what the hell? Like, did I miss something again? Like, what is this happening? So, and like literally whatever this is so damaging because Cory looks like he's about to cry at the thought of whatever happened coming out, right? So I was like, okay. So Bradley's plan is to go talk to Alex to get Alex to talk to Sybil to have them to pay the ransom. And Alex is like, girl, Sybil ain't really fucking with me because she done got them to suspend me and put me on TMS duty for 5 days a week. So Sybil ain't really my best friend. But Bradley's like, but you can, you must, you've been here for 20 years. She's like, girl, they ain't fucking with me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what did you do? Why are you upset? Did you fuck a predator or something? Whatever. Because Alex doesn't know about the video being released. So then she was like, fuck them, let all the business come out. Everything that happened, they didn't have my back when Maggie Kessler's book came out. And Bradley's like, no, I had your back. So I was like, ooh, Alex, girl, you just should have been quiet and been like, ooh, girl, I can't, I'm sorry, or whatever. So then anyway, Sybil, so now we have Cory's in the boardroom, right? And Cory's trying to convince the board for them to pay the $50 million. And he's like, look, this is like a radioactive tsunami. He's like, all our business comes out there. We lose all these films. We use all this stuff. Our employees may sue us. Just all the liability, all the exposure really paints this thing of doom and gloom to get them to pay this ransom. And Sybil is like, not with my goddamn money, right? So Sybil's like, no, how about this? So what? Shit comes out, it comes out. There's nothing we could do. We ain't negotiating with terrorists. We're not going to fund Putin's regime to attack Ukraine. Like, none of this is going to happen on my watch or whatever. So then, right, I did leave out one point. So in between Cory leaving Sybil, he gets a phone in the hallway and calls Paul March, John Hamm, and pretty much accuses him of the hack. And he's like, did you do this? He's like, no, I didn't do this. Well, how much they asking for? $50 million. And I was like, why would you really trust anything this guy would say, right? But anyway, needless to say, Sybil stands up and convinces the board and convinces them not to pay the $50 million, right? So now Cory and Bradley are fucked because whatever they did last year may get exposed and everyone's freaking out, right? Meanwhile, Chip and Isabel, I think that's her name, the assistant director of development, they're having sex or hooking up and whatever. And I'm like, wasn't he married? Did he have a wife? I don't know. But maybe not. Obviously not, because they're now hooking up. They're in some room. I thought that they're back at UBA. Child, they're in Alex's house in the bathroom, about to have sex, in the middle of having sex, just got done having sex, because Alex comes home into her own house that she's paying for and keeping the lights and the heat and the gas on, and finds them in the bathroom and starts freaking out. So they're like, oh my God, no, this we've been doing this for a year. We told HR. And then she's like freaking out. Then she like literally, like, I think that it's just the gravity of everything that was happening of the day started to get to Alex. She's like, I love you guys. Oh, yay, love. And she's just really just all about it. And they're just like, oh my God, she's really, really freaky. She grabs her bottle of vodka from the freezer and starts drinking it straight because it's just been one of those type of days. And they leave. She's like, oh, we got to have dinner. I think she leaves or whatever, right? So Bradley's about to get on the news and announce that UBA has been a victim of the cyber attack because another network is about to announce it anyway. So then she gets on, she does the announcement. Stella and Cory they're sharing a bottle of whiskey, right? And because, after the board meeting, Sybil comes out and he's like, I like being stabbed in the back. Thank you for stabbing me in the gut. She's like, why don't you get your friend Paul March to stitch you up? She's like, don't you know that all sales have to come through the board anyway? Excuse me. And she reads him for filth to be like, you got your job because you staged a coup. It doesn't mean that you're a good leader. And I've seen all these men with these God complexes fall before. And so she lets it out in front of Stella, that she knows about the Paul Mark sale, which Stella does not know about, right? So when Stella and Cory are having their drinks, she's like, look, you can't really be fucking around with these Silicon Valley people. They're just built different. They move different. And you can't be fighting two wars on two fronts or whatever like that, right? She's like, I come from that world. I know whatever like that. Little do we know that is what we call foreshadowing. Because we get to the big reveal, right? Alex comes over. She confronts Bradley. I was a bitch. Here's some wine, whatever. Child, Mia is showering and sleeping at the station. What is that about? Is she homeless? Is she crazy? We don't know. But Mia is showering and sleeping at the station. Okay. So Stella goes, grabs her phone out the bag, starts scrolling through her pictures. Child, it's her and John Hamm from way back in the day. And I was like, oh, okay. So then does that mean that, like, Stella knows about the attack? She's in on the attack? She's in on the merger? What does Stella know? We get this really kind of weird scene with Stella in the elevator. And I was like, okay. Like, Stella's one of those characters, like, I feel like every character for every season has had their opportunity to kind of flourish and have, really interesting plot points. And now it's Stella's turn, and I kind of like this, right? Excuse me. This kind of really brings a very interesting level of intrigue and development, because Stella is really the kind of overlooked, abused child in that company, right? She heads to news division, which is one of their most profitable divisions. No one gives her respect. They be cost cutting on her. Folks just be talking to her all types of greasy and shady all the time. Nobody respects her. She be trying to tell them what to do. And really, like, Stella is just really overlooked and overworked. So if this is her way to stage a coup, for her to be in charge of the whole thing. So now here's my theory. Stella got in with Paul Marks. The plan is for him to buy UBA and for Stella to take Cory's job. I think that would be a very interesting plot point or storyline. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That is episode 2. The morning show is giving me everything I need, right? So I have no complaints whatsoever. The first 2 episodes have been great. Let me know what you guys think. Drop in the comments. Give me your theories. Tell me about the missing colored people and who's this and the Harpo who this people are and whatever like that. And don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share the video with your other friends who also may like the show, right? So anyway, we can all have our good little kiki together. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.